2, 1. Hello, and welcome to Richard Made the Title Card, and Karl who didn't present Deep Space and Dragons. I'm Richard, who is ignoring the Dewey and his decimal system.
And I am Karl, and I mean, I don't remember how to use the Dewey Decimal System, so I should probably ignore it too.
I mean, the joke being, like, I'm in the humanities and, like, library sciences could be a career path, and this podcast episode might have just doomed me from this disrespect.
Do you even know who Dewey is of the Dewey Decimal System?
No. You know, the worst part is this was actually taught to me. I have been absorbing such a truly ridiculous amount of information over the last 2 months that, like, I don't know, man. I'm getting, like, you know that when you run out of RAM and you just hear your fan go, that's been my brain this week.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I keep saying, I'm like, I'm not overwhelmed, I'm not underwhelmed, I'm just whelmed. But I'm not human, so, like, me being whelmed at information absorption is kind of terrifying. That'd be like if we were swimming up a river and you look to your left and Michael Phelps is like, oh man, this isn't going to be a hell of a swim. You're like, uh-oh. That's a problem.
I mean, to be fair, Whelm is the weakest of the three legendary weapons from the
Best dungeon?
Plume Mountain.
Like, literally in the Tales from the Yawning Portal, that's objectively the best one.
I don't know. It was a pretty good one, but I don't know if it's the best one. I think if you chop it into thirds and you do each third as a separate dungeon, it's pretty good.
Yeah, but I did each third with a different party all at once. With 3
Fair
DMs. So that's objectively sick. Because then you, like, I literally have the flare collapse and have them all meet up in one room at the end. Don't try not to worry about the physics too much of how that would work.
Right.
Alright, so what's new in the Karlverse? Is it going to be sad? Did someone die? Did more Saskatchewan shenanigans happen?
Okay, so first...
Oh no, someone died, didn't they? God dang it.
Well, I mean, people die all the time, and it's just, I think the human population is still growing faster than not, but,
Yeah, people may die all the time, but to be fair, most of them aren't celebrity podcasters, so no one really cares.
Celebrity podcasters, oh my.
But please continue before I get myself doxxed.
Okay, so I have a friend who I haven't talked to in a really long time, and he messages me. He's like, "Here, check out this link to Reddit."
Well, that's already a red flag. You
I
opened the link to Reddit.
No, I have reason to trust this guy. It's not an issue. And also, I may have left out some key details to make the story more suspenseful.
Yeah, okay, please continue. But disclaimer to everyone listening to this podcast, don't open Reddit links. Best case, absolute best case scenario, you then read something on Reddit.
But so, it's this post, and someone's like, yeah, I bought this camera from a thrift store. And there was some photo in it, some film in it. So I got the pictures developed.
Already seems fake.
And they're of these random people. They put the pictures on their Reddit post. And I'm wondering if anybody can identify these photos so I can give the negatives to the people they belong to.
I mean, solid strategy so far.
Right. So you may recall, I don't know if you still have your Teespring store. I mean, we haven't really put any plugs for it. It probably just like makes you $5 a year or something. But if it's still even up,
it was Spreadshirt.
Spreadshirt.
I think I actually have it stocked with Waltz of Blades merchandise.
Ooh, that's pretty good cross-promotional material right there.
Right? Like, if I was any kind of business savvy at all, I'd be doing like I'm not going to put a link in the episode description to the shop, like specifically to not advertise my products.
So if you want to find Richard's products,
good luck.
Good luck. You'll have to actually search for them yourself.
That's how you make sales, right?
Well, you know who your dedicated fans are.
Yeah, they have Karl tattoos. I don't have dedicated fans. I have dedicated Karl aficionados.
But so you may recall on your website, on your t-shirts printing website, you made me a sweater called with the Squirtle Hermit design.
I do recall this, yes.
Custom sweater has like a golden Pokeball. It says Karhiko
No,
Shinobi or something underneath.
shh. It has a golden capture oval.
Right. Sorry.
And it has a character who may or may not, but is legally distinct from a Dragon Ball Z inspired mentor who was inspired by Jackie Chan possibly, and possibly has something to do with a four-legged amphibian with a shell. Please continue.
But royalty-free art aside, this is a very custom sweater. And so there's no one else who could be in that photo.
Oh snap.
yeah, my buddy just messaged me out of nowhere. He's like, yeah, I think you're in this photo on this Reddit post. And sure enough, it is 100% me. I have no idea how to contact this person. I don't really care to get the negatives because I don't remember the moment that was captured. But it's like, wow, that's bizarre.
So, like, that is amazing, because yes, that is a one-of-a-kind t-shirt. Like, the design has since been pulled down for being too similar to existing products. So, not only can you not buy one, I can't even make one anymore.
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
I
know.
was thinking of asking for a new one.
I mean, I can make one for you privately as an individual consumer, where I draw whatever I want. And if Nintendo wants to come at me, bro. Man, Nintendo's out here pulling down fan robs, but letting ICE play their theme song in the background to deport immigrants.
Ooh.
Yeah, they did that. I have no problem saying that. What's Nintendo gonna do? Cease and desist me for pointing out the crime? Well, it's not a crime they committed. They did nothing wrong. They just care more about punishing their fans.
The strongest defense for defamation is truth.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so that's thing the first. That's actually the most recent. That just happened.
You know, I completely
today.
forgot this episode topic was going to be dunking on Nintendo. This is a beautifully strong opening.
But so thing the second, also actually today, although slightly less recent than the Reddit thing. But anyways,
that is still bad. You should get the film. You should get it. Like, it's not like you have a large ceremony coming up where people might make a slideshow about you or something. You should get the film.
Maybe. But anyways, so earlier today, even earlier than this Reddit post, my fiance and I, we have the week off, and so we decided that we were going to go to Batoche, which is a historical site where Métis people, they received land, they built a village called Batoche, and then because of
did you know you did this on Orange Shirt Day?
I did not.
Because Orange Shirt Day, you know, the holiday where we, like, acknowledge the residential school, like, that's actually, like, the one appropriate thing you could have went and did on that holiday. Like, I know, because I had to wear an orange shirt for my What's New With Me, I'll get to that, but, like, legitimately, that is correct. Like, you objectively did the right thing here, and I'm not trying to process that.
Well, I don't know if it's completely objectively the correct thing.
It's pretty objectively.
We drove for an hour to go to Batoche and learn a little bit about Louis Riel and the rebellion and all that kind of jazz.
That is exactly correct. I would have let you skip my tutorial to do that because it was educational and on theme.
It turns out Batoche closed for the season last Friday.
Why? I'm so mad at them right now. Because, like, did you not just hear the Orange Shirt Day, residential schools, truth and reconciliation? It's a heritage site about, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to be open because the weather is still nice. And I would have thought that there'd still be like school groups that would want to go and do that kind of stuff. Because
like, there's a specific designated calendar day.
The last time I was there was in elementary school, and they let me wear like the red uniform and march around in the grass and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. And I decided to go check it out again because I haven't been there in several decades. And yeah, it was closed. But
I'm so mad about this. You have no idea. Like, I'm like furious.
We get up to the front door. We see the sign saying that they're closed. but there's someone inside. And so they come to the door, they hand me a pamphlet, and they're like, yeah, we're closed for the season, but feel free to just walk around.
Oh, that's
you just can't go in any of the buildings.
That's good.
So yeah, I mean, we drove for an hour there, an hour back, and we only walked around for about a half hour. So spent more time driving than actually at the heritage site. But it was pretty cool because we got to walk around for free, and they still have like the informational signs up and stuff. So that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
And then the last thing that's new with me should be the longest story, but we'll see how it goes.
Do we want to pause for what's new with me first because it's quicker and fits into the story that's been established?
Sure. Yeah. What's new with you there, Richard?
So I get a message about my tutorial, an email from a student in one of my tutorials, right? Because as everyone's aware, I'm in grad school and I do TAing thing. I don't talk too much specifics because I don't want my students to point out I have a podcast and get me fired. Even though, disclaimer, this is a comedy podcast. Whoever may or may not be employing these views are not represented in any way, shape, or form. I'm a private citizen in Canada, allegedly still has free speech. So, right. I'm like, I get this email. It's like, hey, is there school tomorrow for Orange Shirt Day? And I'm like, yes. Right? Because why would there not be? And I had a huge conundrum. So I'm in the TA office with the Council of TAs, right? I'm like, all right, before I message the prof about it, I'm curious, guys. Should I respond with saying, hey, if you want to go to any of the Orange Shirt events on campus, I will count you as attending the tutorial. Because objectively speaking, like one of the events was like a VR tour of a residential school, is probably more educational than my reinforcement lecture on Shakespearean forms. Right? Like, the class is literally called Borders Across, like Literature Across Borders, and is about storytelling across borders. So, right? That is pretty on theme. That is a solid choice. Some of our readings reflected that. Like, this is well thought out. But the problem was, if I sent a mass email saying, hey, if you guys want to skip tutorial to go to Orange Shirt Day, what they're actually going to do is take their pants off, turn on Netflix, and eat Cheetos. So
that is one way to get an orange shirt.
Thank you. I'm happy you caught that. That was deliberate. That was the bit. Thank you. So I had like this big internal debate about if someone had told me they wanted to go to an event, I would fully give them permission to go to an event, talk to the prof would be like, that's great, let's let them go to this event. But I'm not going to make the entire tutorial do an optional event.
Right.
So I tell them, yeah, there's class anyway. And there's Orange Shirt Day. I'm like, I don't own an orange shirt. I need to own an orange shirt because I cannot be the white man that says you have to come to class on Orange Shirt Day and in no way, shape, or form acknowledge it and then proceed to talk about Shakespeare for an hour. Because, like, it's like, well, the school's talking, like, setting these cool LED lights to orange to, like, do this thing. I'm like, I cannot. I actually have to, like, ethically support this, so I go buy this shirt. 100% of the proceeds go towards the thing. I put it on over my dress shirt, like, like the millennial thing of having the long sleeves under the short sleeves, like a boss.
Like a boss.
And I do this tutorial, but I just thought it was so funny where I'm like, oh no, I cannot be the problem today. Like, I'm in the front of the room, clearly visible. I have to, at the very least, show allegiance to this concept if I'm telling people, actually, no, you can't. But I'm like, no, I didn't say no, you can't. But if I told everyone, actually, if you give me a valid reason, you can ditch, everyone's just going to ditch.
Right, because they have a valid reason to ditch.
Yeah. So, like, it was complex. And then I straight up told them in the tutorial, I'm like, by the way, guys, if there's, like, specific events you want to go to, let me know, and I will run it past the prof and see if I can let you go to it, because I'm fine with people doing stuff. But, like, yeah, that was my little tangent about Orange Shirt Day being like, oh, I have to buy an orange shirt because I can't not support this. Like, I have a little, like, orange shirt pin that I wear, but I'm like, no, I need to actually have the shirt. But also, whenever I wear the orange shirt pin, I think about Blue Shirt Guy from... what was the name of the movie about the guy who was in a video game?
Oh, I want to say Fall Guy, but
that wasn't it.
I know which movie you're talking about.
I don't think it was literally called Blue Shirt Guy.
No.
Anywho, he'll come back to
Uh,
me, Ryan Reynolds. But like, it just makes me think of him having the shirt tattooed on his bicep, and it's just funny to me.
yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
And I also talked about Full Metal Alchemist in class today. It was on topic, and I learned that von Hohenheim's named after an actual alchemist, which is blew my mind. Like, I read this paper and I look at the author, and it's like Bombastus von Hohenheim, and like the name that the dwarf in the flask says out is about the actual guy who coined the term homunculus and famously made a homunculus in a flask. What do you mean research was done here? Could I have just skipped? I could have just skipped the readings, and my passive knowledge of Fullmetal Alchemist would have got me my participation grade today. The person who was giving their presentation had slides that were like Ancient Lit, straight up Fullmetal Alchemist screen grab, Ancient Lit. It was great. Because the presenter was on the same brain cell as me.
Right.
And it was just like talking about the actual terms and then just splicing in some Fullmetal Alchemist screenshots with citations for good measure. And then I chatted with my prof on lunch break about, Fullmetal Alchemist isn't just on topic, it's like the best anime objectively. Like literally, we rate these things and list them, and it's in first place, occasionally usurped by autistic coded elves.
Ah, yeah. Freeman is really good as well. It turns out that the Ryan Reynolds movie is called Free Guy.
There we go. I think they should have just called it Blue Shirt Guy. That would have been pretty great.
That would have been pretty great.
And my last little piece of that what's new was, let's see, we talked alchemy in class. The brain's gone now. Yeah, my brain's just gone now, man. I have to read like 2 novels a week and maintain it.
Okay. But so now that was more topical. With I probably should have told these stories in reverse. Really.
This is a pretty good pivot. Let's see where this goes. Like,
Okay.
You're a wild card. Well, no, I know your friends. By my standard of highly intelligent, socially wise people, you're a wild card.
Okay, so I work at Redacted Pizza Place.
Oh man, I do love the treasure hunt where people have to listen to 200 episodes to figure this out because we've given every piece out there that you need.
But so it's my work is not in a nice neighborhood.
Wait, pause.
Hmm?
There is no nice neighborhood there. So by definition, it's just in a neighborhood.
No. See, I mean, you've told me that people think your neighborhood is not nice, but it is relatively extremely nice to neighborhoods that you have lived in the past.
The people that say my neighborhood aren't nice are liars, because I go to downtown core every week now, and I only have to step over so many people who literally with a ukulele was singing I Do Crack in Union Station before I think, hey, this is where you spend your time. You're wrong. You're wrong about what nice neighborhoods are. That wasn't a hypothetical. He had a ukulele, Carl.
All I'm saying is that relatively speaking, the neighborhood that my work is in is a bad neighborhood.
Yeah, but your boss is working on it. If he buys up every house and flattens it for a parking lot, eventually it'll be an empty neighborhood.
But there's a liquor store a couple blocks down the street, right? This isn't exactly relevant to the story, but like last week, 2 weeks ago maybe, there was a savage machete attack at this liquor store. And according to one of the workers at the liquor store, one of his hands fell off as he was being loaded onto the stretcher into the ambulance.
So I need to point something out. A good friend of mine is from Guyana, right? And he talks about how people will walk up with their cutlasses, which is what they call machetes there, and they'll just chop off your head.
Right.
That is a literal... Like, you are aware that you're in Canada and living the same lived experience as someone from a country that you can get refugee status to leave, right? Just for some context.
That's not even the point of the story. That's a side note to explain to you that yes, the neighborhood that my work is in is indeed a relatively terrible neighborhood.
So I've recently been going through Demon Slayer, debating on why it's so highly rated, and me and Panda were talking about how really Demon Slayer is what happens when you take away the level of abstraction from Bleach until it becomes sensible. Alright, we'll just have the monsters visible. Your sword powers are just elements. Your characters only have one name and are reasonably sized, and we only have like 8 of them. Like, it's just we took Bleach and took all the confusing crap out and actually wrote an outline from start to finish. And Bleach,
right.
Bleach, I commonly say, is the worst afterlife. And in Demon Slayer, that's just their day-to-day life. And that's still 2 steps above your neighborhood, but please continue.
So anyway, at my workplace, we had this worker. I'm going to call him Steve Holt.
Nice. Steve Holt.
So Mr. Holt, he comes into work one day, and he's like, I need to go home. I got kicked out of my house last night. I had to sleep on a park bench.
Well, then
I'm
why would you
really
go home?
tired. I can't work today.
But
I'm
but
like,
you
okay,
got
Mr. Holt.
food and water in the pizzeria. That's so
So I mean, I'm annoyed that he showed up to work to tell me that he was calling in sick. But it's like, okay, if you're not going to work, you might as well just go home. Whatever. We can work without him. I mean, he wasn't a particularly high value employee because all he ever did was slicing, and we're fairly certain that he actually paced his slicing specifically, so no matter how long his shift was, he would be slicing his entire shift.
I don't really see a problem with that, though, given the, like, hey, if I'm not going to finish that thought, but I'm just going to say that milking the system in this circumstance won't keep me up at night.
But not, I mean, it's just, like I say, it's just you're not a high-value employee, so if you come in and call in sick when you're in that position, we're just like, okay, we can do without you.
You awoken something in me, and I have to give a 1-minute monologue. Time me and say time when I run out of time to stop my monologue. You ready?
Okay, just give me one moment. I gotta pull up my timer here.
You ready?
All right, you have 1 minute starting now.
A lot of entry-level jobs bring in employees and don't give rates of raises that offset inflation, to the point where the vast majority of employees at entry-level jobs only make within a 10% window of minimum wage. Therefore, regardless whether an employee is highly valued or not, the difference in their compensation does not equal the difference in their effort. Therefore, if I worked 100 times harder than this man, I'd only make roughly 1% more than them of year-end income. Therefore, he is strategically correct by being lazy, since being highly valued will actually result in you being asked to do more, because you'll finish early, have a lower workload, and thus a lower life expectancy for the same overall quality of life.
Wow, that only took you 40 seconds.
I have thoughts.
Well, anyway, the actual, well, not, this isn't even actually the entire point of the story. This is only half the story. Because...
Well, I assumed. I just needed to stop to be a woke-ass libtard for a minute who believes people should be paid living wages like some kind of mooch. The liberal arts have ruined me, man. I believe in equality and stuff now.
But, so, instead of going home, Mr. Holt decides that he's going to go to the liquor store where there was this machete attack.
Pause. So his excuse was he has no home.
Yeah.
How is he going to go home? This is on you. You got swindled.
Maybe.
Him going home was literally impossible.
Either way, he went to the liquor store, got drunk, started a fight, and then, because he was scared for his life, because he started this fight, and it was like 2 or 3 on 1, he comes running to our store, and runs behind the counter and grabs the bat that we have for intimidation. We're not supposed to use it. Self-defense laws in Canada kind of suck.
So
anyway,
your life is delightfully fascinating. I think my problem was I wrote fantasy novels instead of just writing your adventures down and then giving you elf ears and setting it in a fantasy setting. Like, if this was a tavern and everything else played out the exact same, this is gold TV.
So I mean, he grabs the bat. The guys had already given up because they were trying to drag him outside. They didn't want to come inside, but they were trying to drag him outside. And when he got inside, they'd already given up. They're going out through the parking lot, and he comes running out after them with this baseball bat. And he's just like, I don't know how long he chased them for, because all I could see was in the camera footage. Because I was at home resting at that point, so I get called in because he had smashed our COVID plexiglass and it was just a whole big scene, but he ended up getting fired for calling in sick and then instead going to get drunk and bringing a fight to the store.
So I'm putting this out there. your COVID-proof plexiglass isn't knife-proof is just the funniest concept to come up.
As far as I know, there were no knives involved.
I just have this visual where they smash it with a machete and then cough on you out of spite.
No, again, I mean, it happened to be the same liquor store, but the machete attack happened recently. This event, although I haven't described when it happened, is several years old already.
No, we're fusing these stories together. You did this. It is your fault for not using the Dewey Decimal System and properly sorting this research. Please continue.
So anyways, now somewhat more recently, like last week, this Mr. Holt has been, been calling our store and being like, "Hey, you guys should rehire me." And we're like, "Yeah, no, you were a lazy employee and you messed up real good by breaking stuff and bringing a fight to our store. Like, we're not going to rehire you." And so he keeps calling. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, there was a value to being one of the high-value employees. It increases your odds of being rehired. I guess it did pay off to be high value. Who knew? My bad. My advice of phoning it in and quiet quitting because capitalism is a lie did directly result in this person not returning to their employment. Might be. Always work hard at your jobs, people, even when they take and take and take.
But so we have like a caller ID system where it'll actually show up on our computer screen. Then you can like press a button to get all the information from that phone number.
You sure it's not just two tin cans attached by a copper wire?
It's a who's calling system. There's like 3 Z's for some reason.
I pictured an owl, and I'm so disappointed. It's not just an owl that lights up like some sort of like Furby to phone interface, where there's just a Furby version of the phone that's like, "Traitor alert! Traitor alert!"
But so like my boss, Angry Bird,
flawless pivot, 10 out of 10.
He writes on that phone number. He writes "hang up," and so now he keeps calling, and we keep hanging up on him. And so then eventually he calls from a different number. He talks to someone else, and this person's like, "Yeah, I'm just going to be brutally honest with him and tell him that he's never going to be rehired."
Reasonable.
Fair? Right. So a few days later, he walks in the back door of our store, and he looks at the guy that told him he was never going to be rehired, and he starts telling him about how he should be rehired.
Solid strategy. Harassment is best way to get your job back.
My employee is like, "Yeah, no, you're not going to get rehired." And then so he makes a motion to like go towards the front. Mr. Holt does. And one of our delivery drivers is like, "Whoa, who is this guy?" Just like, kind of like grabs his backpack, and then Holt turns around and just like shoves him out the door, and they start having this like fist fight in our back parking lot.
So it's funny. So I'll like tell stories about Saskatchewan in class, and I'll always end with, "Nah, I was traumatized and had a rough childhood. It wasn't that bad. I just only remember the bad." And then they'll tune into our podcast and have fist fight in the parking lot in the bad side of town, picturing the broken cloven plexiglass under their feet as they're throwing punches at each other. But again, these events didn't happen simultaneously, but they're better if they did.
I feel like if our driver was in a like an actual arena, he probably would have kicked Mr. Holt's ass.
Well, yeah, as you mentioned, Mr. Holt hasn't been sleeping good. His primary food source consists of liquor.
And then so eventually the fight tussle, they start wrestling and they end up like on the ground, but just off camera. And then my employee goes out with the intimidation bat and actually manages to intimidate Mr. Holt to leave for about 15 minutes. When he comes back with a piece of fence board, and he goes to smash this driver's car windows, except for he walks up and he smashes the wrong windows. It's like, what? Like, what are you doing? And one of our other cooks pokes their head out the door and is like, "Dude, that's the wrong car. You're freaking stupid. You're on camera. Like, what are you doing? Just go home." Which I don't know if he can go home, because as you mentioned, he was homeless at least at one point.
I shouldn't make fun of him for this, but it's a comedy podcast. And I'm like, But like seriously, I don't know. Donate to your soup kitchen or something, viewers. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I thought it was a particularly like it was crazy that, you know,
Like what a series of choices were made today, or when this happened. I'll say today, sure, why not? People aren't fact checking me.
people are not fact checking you about what day it is today.
It's so funny because in my day-to-day life, I have to like be so thorough and accurate and go under like severe academic rigor, and then I just go online and bullshit for 2 hours straight. It's great.
Yeah. But I mean, that's about all that's actually new with me. I mean, I would say what's new with me is that I watched the Nintendo Direct for this month, but I didn't actually watch the whole thing. I watched little snippets here and there.
Smooth pivot to our topic, although I was going to make a joke. Why do we have a topic? Just the shenanigans that is your life could easily be this entire show. Like, I know I gave you a lot of flack for Flash movie reviews, but that flack is completely revoked because I'm like, okay, not every week somebody smashes plexiglass. But once in a while, if you're patient and you sip on your Frappuccino long enough, one of Carl's employees will smash plexiglass, roll their fists in it, and then punch people with broken glass. Also giving them COVID from the spit on the COVID glass.
No, I mean, Mr. Holt realized that he couldn't beat Billy Talent.
Nice.
He realized that he couldn't beat Billy Talent in a standing game. His kicks were weak, and his striking game was just terrible. Well, like I said, I don't know if Mr. Talent has actually practiced MMA or not, but he definitely was like way more focused and targeted, and just like Mr. Holt didn't stand a chance until he tackled him to the ground off camera. And I don't know what happened with the intimidation bat.
Although I am just picturing this like a Street Fighter thing, but my Street Fighter moves would be like, book advertisement, loan debt.
It's like, in any event,
I'm the least
I've been
broke.
too dizzy.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm the least broke I've been in a long time. My checking account's in the positives. Hashtag author life. Hashtag relatively successful author. That's the rub. I actually can make a living off this, kind of. But I also sometimes eat borscht for 3 days. Although it was the best borscht I've ever made. It's really good. My brother just got borscht. Well, my roommate bought a flat of canned beets for some reason.
Wow.
And then like I went out and got my like stew beef and then just decided to become a god of soup and just make the best soup I've ever made, but never wrote down or measured anything I did.
I do plan on making a turkey dinner so that I will have a stockpile of turkey soup for while I'm recovering from my upcoming surgery to save me from those damn migratory vampires.
When is Thanksgiving anyway? Wait a minute. So grad school is fun. I enjoy grad school. My internal clock is gone because it's just I'm only able to prepare like a week or a day in advance of my next task because my brain can only hold one Capaldi City at the Sun at a time before I have to load in 13 translations of the Emerald Tablet of Hermes. And then it's like, people are like, hey, what are your plans for Thanksgiving? And I'm like, Thanksgiving? I'm figuring out my plans for Thursday. Because Thursday I need to read 5 academic papers on gingerbread men and their cultural significance. Which is awesome, but a lot.
Well, Thanksgiving Monday is Monday the 13th of October this year.
Right,
I don't know if I'll be in the hospital on Thanksgiving Monday, but I will probably be in the hospital recovering on that weekend.
Sorry, I said Monday, October 6th?
13th.
13th. Oh, okay, good. Because in my brain, you were being cut open sooner than that, where they're going to implant that weird terraformer organ in you to give you honey badger powers, if they got my note.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Right? Honey badger powers are sick. Also, terraformers was terrible. It's one of those like cool concept, terrible execution type situations.
Terraformers or Animorphs?
Terraformers.
Huh.
It was a short-run animated series / manga series about weirdly JoJo proportioned people getting spliced with animal organs to go to Mars to fight giant cockroach men.
You know, I actually vaguely recall this. I don't know if I actually ever read it, but
It might have
it
just been
sounds like it would
on.
be right up my alley.
Oh yeah, like it's. But then like they didn't. They left Mars, got back, and were like, cool. Now the threads unwind, and they just didn't know what to do with that. They didn't know where they were doing after that. They had no idea how to land the plane. It happens. Now everyone can pull a Full Metal Alchemist and be textbook worthy. Alright, so we're gonna talk Nintendo Direct.
Right.
So here's why Big Brother Nintendo, despite the fact that they like making things we talk about on this podcast explicitly like we're gods,
Right.
I look at the new Pokemon ZA game, right? Pokemon Legends Arceus I really enjoyed. Pokemon Scarlet Violet, I did not.
Right.
ZA having day one DLC, locking Mega Evolutions behind a versus mode, and just completely forgetting that the thing that made the last Legends game good was it was a one-player game with exploration. I'm just like, who is this for? And the new Digimon Cyber Sleuth game comes out tomorrow, Digimon Time Survivor. And I played the demo, and I'm like, okay, 7 years ago I'd said Cyber Sleuth was the best Digimon game ever made. They took the same base engine and then improved it for 7 years. So I'm playing this demo riding on the back of my Garurumon using my laser gun to cheap shot Digimon that are no longer wild encounters but they're on the maps to then jump them, scan them to upgrade my Fluffy Dragon. I'm like, yeah, while listening to my techno and my good quality voice acting. And so Egan gives an early release score to this Digimon Cyber game and they're like 8 out of 10 and I'm like, wow, Egan, you hate Digimon. This must be an objectively good game. But they're gonna give ZA a higher score, and it's gonna make me so angry.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what do you think about Pokopia?
So, first off, it's really funny that Pal World the next day announced that they're doing the same thing and they started it earlier to try and like trademark the Pokemon farming sim game before them, because Pal World had these farming elements. So if Nintendo wasn't being like, oh, we own monster battling for some reason, I might be like, Pokemon Harvest Moon. I can get on board conceptually with Pokemon Harvest Moon, right? That mod already exists before Nintendo cease and desisted the Stardew Valley Pokemon mod. Like, the idea is solid. That was the best part of Pal World, wasn't killing pals and forcing them into indentured servitude. It was having my Depresso and run a little cafe while my buddies worked on their garden and then soaked in their hot tub. You could play Pal World really wholesome for some reason. So,
or you could play it very horribly, like feeding, like turning all your creatures into cannibals and stuff. Ugh.
Yeah, but it's more fun to be nice. My ultimate fantasy is I don't have to be mean to people.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, Pokeopia, 10 out of 10. Is it a $90 game? No. It is a $20 indie game, and we all know it, but you're Nintendo and paying the Nintendo tax.
Did they name prices for any of these games?
Most of them are coming in at $90 to $100.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't like it, but it's...
So the next one is they're nowadays. Like, the new Super Mario movie was announced, and they're doing Super Mario Galaxy the movie.
Yeah.
I'm completely on board with that. I like the Mario movie. I know I said I came to bitch about Nintendo for an hour. Mario movie, despite that Chris Pratt couldn't do a voice, and didn't do a voice, and was a terrible Mario, Jack Black, however, was a perfect Bowser.
Yeah.
And Charlie Day was born to be Luigi. Like, that is his destiny.
Firstly, is Luigi even in Mario Galaxy?
He's going to be in this one.
I mean, I guess so. He's probably contractually obliged to be in there.
Yeah.
And secondly, I mean, people say Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are like the best Mario games ever made. I personally had a tough time with the shifting gravity on the like tiny planets and the camera angles and stuff. Maybe it was also the Wii controls. I'm not sure. So I never actually played it. But who is the villain? I don't think it's Bowser, is it?
It's Bowser.
Really?
Yeah, he gets a super duper star. So here's the thing about Galaxy 1 and 2 slightly HD collection. Do I think re-releasing Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 to go with the movie is the thing to do? Yeah, it's the thing to do. Is it objectively absurd that it's $90 for two games that both of them you could buy for $10 on the Wii U? That's insane, right? Like, it could run on my cell phone.
I do agree. Like, it doesn't seem like they made any quality of life improvements to the Mario Galaxy games.
They did not.
So paying full price for a hardly even HD remaster
And what's wild, and I remember thinking about this with the Wind Waker HD remaster, right? With current emulator technology, oh man, Nintendo's going to come after me for this episode. If you take a modern console and emulate a game and put 4 filters on it, it'll run smoother and better than their HD re-releases. Like, if I were to just take Mario Galaxy and load it up with Redacted and run it on Redacted, it would run better than on the Switch too, because their HD texturing isn't as good, right? And then I can, like, set up so I can do speed up through cutscenes and load mods and fan creativity. It is not the best way to play it. It's definitely not, objectively, not on your Switch 2.
So actually, a question in a similar vein of thought. You know, we have like the Oculus Rift and other like VR glasses, but do they have Virtual Boy emulators that you can put on your phone and then just like slot them into like a cardboard cutout to do what the Virtual Boy Classics are doing for their online services?
So I have such thoughts on the Virtual Boy. I was chatting with a friend of mine about this, right? Adjusted for inflation and price, the actual Virtual Boy costs about as much as this Virtual Boy accessory. Right? So, like...
Well, I mean, they are going to release the Nintendo Labo cardboard headset thing you just build out of cardboard. So, I don't know how much that's going to cost.
I can't stress this enough. So, the actual plastic Virtual Boy controlling device, which you could just 3D print one in theory if someone were to drop an STL file, right? There's no real moving parts other than a screw.
Right.
Is $109.
Oof. Why?
Right? And here's the thing. I decided to put AI to use, right? And I asked ChatGPT, how much would it cost to build a Virtual Boy from scratch? I'm trying to pull this up. So, long story short, if you were to buy an LED screen, an adapter, a circuit board, ROM, all of the pieces you need, it would cost you about $100 to just build an actual Virtual Boy. So for $110, you can get a plastic Nintendo branded shell, right? Or
you slide your $800 Switch into.
Or, hear me out, with a 3D printer, an LED screen, and a pair of goggles from the dollar store, you could reasonably assemble a fully functioning with the processors, the control board, the opticals, a actual Virtual Boy. You could just, they could just be selling a Virtual Boy Classic, like the Nintendo Classic, that has all the games in it, with a USB-C charger, for the same price. For the same price.
Or, like I say, you could go out and buy any other VR headset that probably has a reasonable emulator. I'm not saying that piracy should be supported, but I mean,
They're selling a plastic replica for more than it would cost to build an actual one. Imagine, in any other field, buying a replica frying pan that you have to plug your cell phone into to heat it up for more than a frying pan. Imagine buying a car radio replica that only works in a Tesla for more than a radio. That's insane! And you don't even own the games! They're on a cloud-based premium license program for the Virtual Boy software. So if they push a button in a year, your $100 gaming console, with no moving electronic parts, is rendered completely unfunctional. You can buy an actual arcade machine for that much and put it up in your living room.
Ooh. Costco does have a sweet Star Wars arcade machine, but it's brand new, so it costs like $7,000.
Yeah, but worth it. That would be more value than buying 70 of these stupid Virtual Boys.
I would actually own said pinball machine, and Disney couldn't come and be like, no, you can't have this pinball machine.
Disney would try. Disney would be like, no, because you bought our pinball machine under our license, you being stabbed at our theme park isn't tax deductible. So, That's my problem with the Virtual Boy, is it could have just been the Virtual Boy Classic with all of the games on it for the same price.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, so I
also,
don't have a smooth segue here.
No,
but...
I have to complain about
ahead.
another thing about it too. How much do you think the cardboard version costs?
Oh, probably $80.
30.
Really?
How are we in a world where you're like, your first
but...
thought was that was reasonable, and that's how Nintendo's got us.
Cardboard. I mean, $30 just for cardboard and the instructions on how to put it together is highway robbery, but at the same time, it's like I really thought they were going to milk it for more.
That is 300 bottles of green tea. Hashtag Arizona, staying strong, baby. That is 30 Costco hot dogs.
Costco hot dogs.
All right, so on to the next thing that surely baffled me. Why is there a new Mario Tennis?
I don't.
Why?
Mario Tennis for the Game Boy is one of my favorite games because it had an actual like RPG element where you could build your own character, and there wasn't that much customization that you could do, but there was some. You could control 4 stats, and you could really only max out 2, and the other ones would be mediocre, or you could try and balance. Anyway, I really thoroughly enjoyed Mario Tennis for Game Boy Color.
So I'm weirdly gonna bring up Ping Pong Peril for a second.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm gonna pitch to you what I would do for Mario Tennis.
Mm-hmm.
So remember in Duelist Kingdom Yu-Gi-Oh, where you'd run around this island of all these different biomes, and then a stadium would come out of the ground and people would get field power bonuses?
Mm-hmm.
You know in Ping Pong Peril where they were playing ping pong on top of people's heads in Shibuya, and then he made himself a human horse to ride on? Or how they'd use a gold ping pong ball to create friction on the table so it'd burn off your eyebrows?
Yeah.
Why not Mario Tennis World? That's Duelist Kingdom and you have to get your 10 star chips while people blatantly cheat. If it's already a cartoon facsimile of a sport, why be boring with it?
And see,
why not go like full Mario 7 stars and have to fight a candy cane monster on top of Mount Doom while Sephiroth swings a sword at you? Like, go for it!
But see, I like I said, I really, really loved Mario Tennis for the Game Boy Color. Any other Mario Tennis game, up till the one for the Switch, Mario Tennis Aces, I just passed them by because they all just focused on the multiplayer aspect. It didn't have a reasonable single-player campaign with the RPG elements.
And it's because everyone got Diddy Kong Racing got Mario Kart over Diddy Kong Racing. That's what did it.
But so Camelot Games, I don't know if Camelot is the studio that did Mario Tennis for the Game Boy.
Yes, it was.
They came back to do Mario Tennis Aces, I'm pretty sure.
I'll fact check that while you talk.
Yeah. So when they advertised Aces, they said, there's an RPG. So I got super excited because they have like these cool like special moves you can do to like try and use your special meter to like dodge over and hit impossible shots and do special shots and do ultimate shots and stuff. And then I watched this trailer for Mario Tennis Fever, which isn't even coming to the Switch 1 as far as I can tell.
Yep.
And they're like, check out this brand new Fever meter. It's like, no, that's calling it Fever meter and saying it's new does not make it new. Like that's.
Yep.
Anyway, and then they're talking about you can do these special shots, and it's like, well, yeah, that's still not. This is Aces was, in terms of game engine, objectively better than the Game Boy Color version, but then the single player campaign was absolutely abysmal, and the RPG elements were basically non-existent.
Yep.
And I was extremely disappointed with Aces, and so I'm extremely hesitant for Fever because they're saying these things are new, and they're just not. And there's absolutely no mention. And there's absolutely no mention of any sort of single player campaign of any similar scope to even Mario Tennis Aces, which was a terrible single player campaign. The only thing which I would be excited for, and I would definitely play the game if somebody magically purchased the Switch 2 and the game for me. But I do really like Fever Rackets, because that was one of my big complaints about Aces as well, is that they had all these different rackets, but they didn't actually do anything.
Well, so I'm going to call this the Mario Kart paradox. So when I was playing, my friend threw me a video game themed birthday party a few years back. And we were playing Mario Kart 8, and then we switched to Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
Objectively speaking, people had more fun playing Mario Kart 64. There's a few reasons for that. First, by default, Mario Kart 64, you're only racing against the other people.
Right.
Second, bad people got better at 64 because bad people at Mario Kart 8 will try and build a kart, because that's fun. Any kart configuration you build will be worse than a default kart for your first race in that kart. It doesn't even matter how much internet searching you do.
Right,
because you won't be able to adjust it to anything, right? Like, you won't be able to, like, build a good car if you haven't driven a car yet. So by stripping away all these extra features in Mario Kart World or Mario Kart 8, even though all of the options are there and we can push all the buttons, having to go in and turn off auto drive and turn off controller things, most people will just miss those options and just have a worse gameplay experience. So, like, I'm torn, because let's take Custom Robo, one of my favorite games that, by saying it on this podcast, will be announced for Switch 2.
Yeah.
Custom Robo, you could build your robot on the spot for versus mode, right? Everyone had access to all the robots.
Right.
That was sweet. But, like, it also takes a few games to figure out what you're doing in that one.
Right, and it also, like, leads to choice paralysis, because you don't, like, you see the stats changing, but you don't really know what the stats mean yet.
But for Custom Robo, it's more evidently obvious what the stuff does. Monkey slow flamethrower fires like you think a flamethrower would, right?
Right.
If you look at a bullet bill car and at an egg car, it's not immediately obvious the handling difference, because the stats aren't drastic enough to really be able to like, your brain can't go motorcycle better at turning than car, because that's not how it's designed. So for these fever rackets in Mario Tennis, I think in practice it'll actually make multiplayer worse, because people will just make their characters unoptimized by default.
Right. Yeah. As an interesting side note, one of the things that I absolutely love Mario Kart 8. I do agree with you that it's really annoying about the auto steering. Well, the steering assist, as they call it, because first player can save their preference, but the other players can't. So you have to tell every player every time to turn off their thing for that session.
Yeah, and it's like
it's really fun when I play with my brother, and then he chooses his character, and like, oh, you're being a scrub, and then he's like, oh no, we got to go back, I turn off auto steering. But more to the point, Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart World have hidden stats. And so, the best wheels in Mario Kart 8 are like the Leaf wheels, or a couple other wheels, because they're really good with Mini Turbo, which is a stat that isn't on the screen.
Yep. How's that for mean game design?
Yeah, that's just stupid game design. When they did Mario Kart 8 World, carts and tires and stuff have different speeds depending on terrain, on-road, off-road, water, whatever. And when apparently this is a change they made for World, when it shows your speed stat, it shows the average speed for all terrain types.
Oh no.
Yeah, so you can think that you're getting a really fast car because it has really, really high off-road, but then it's actually terrible on-road and ends up being slow overall, and you end up losing races because you decided to build a fast car because of hidden stats.
So, like, where I was kind of going with that is that, to give the Magic example of Magic Commander, my preferred way of playing Commander is either a cube draft or precons, because it's hard to curate, especially in my 30s, a consistent game group with a consistent level of skill. Like, me and you can't even synchronize our lives enough to play a game appropriately enough that if the game has a high gap between optimization and non-optimized, I will get my ass destroyed to you at Mario Kart unless I practice it, because I simply, if I pick a random kart, I'm already at a disadvantage before we even start driving. Plus, it's still a skill-based driving game. So, like, and a lot of people be like, oh, I'll put it to max speed because car go fast. Better play 200cc with a random car I built on tracks I've never seen before. And it's like the number of ways that game like snowballs for you to be worse at it than the people you're playing with in your party game. But then Mario Party's the opposite, where it'll be like, oh, you're losing, you better win the game now. So, but to continue along, because we got a bit more of this direct to get into. So, they added more multiplayer to Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Yeah, okay, I mean, DLC, whatever.
Yep. At least it's not day one DLC. God, do I hate day one DLC. Hate it. The idea you'll be like, this is a $90 game on a $600 system, which is a flagstone title. Give us $40 the day you buy it for more content. Are you kidding me?
It's ridiculous.
It's like, do you want the cool Raichu? I'm like, you even spoiled what's in it. Come on. But on something that does look enjoyable is Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, aka Yoshi Story 2, and I'm like, oh, this is like a puzzle derpy non-Woolly World Yoshi game. Okay, I'll try that if I had the console and an extra $200.
I love Woolly World. For some reason, it's escaping me what the one for the Switch is called. The
Crafty
Switch
World?
One. Yeah, Yoshi's Crafted World. Maybe that's the one. And anyway, I really love both of those games. And I don't think it's enough for me to actually get a Switch 2. But I do agree, Yoshi's and the Mysterious Book looks like a fantastically fun
Although, my brother
game.
put out something really funny. So they're like, we gave it a storybook feel, which is why it runs in this frame rate. I just hear him in the background. That's not why it runs at that frame rate. And I'm like, yeah, I saw the Sunfloras completely crash in the Nintendo Switch to have 4 Sunfloras run past you in Pokemon. They've recently filed a trademark and copyright for 20 frame rate games, I'm sure. And the thing is, for frame rate, I'm not a frame rate snob. I lock my games to 30 or 60, usually 30, because every game I played for my entire life on a console has been locked to 30. My PC can run Hades at 160-something frames, and I'm like, 30's fine. My eyes aren't good, and my dynamic motion's not great. I don't care. So I'm not going to be the guy that's like, ugh. But there is, in fact, some games where I'm like, ugh. It's like, it was like a Fairy Tail RPG on the Switch 1 and a Monster Hunter one that I'm like, I can tell the frame rate's bad. That's not okay. Because I shouldn't be able to notice because I'm not looking for it.
Right.
So, like, when I see there's too many Sunflowers and my game gets choppy, I'm like, how is this possible? Alright, so...
Too many Sunflowers.
We already talked about the Poke Farm. We talked about how they're like, hey, Season Pass DLC Pokemon. We don't care about Resident Evil. And we're not really talking about non-first-party Nintendo things, because let's be honest. Play your third-party games on a better system than the Switch 2. If you're telling me, ooh, I'm so happy to play Cyberpunk on the Switch, I'm like, no, you're not. That is the incorrect way to enjoy that product. I'm sorry.
Okay, but I mean, are you excited for Hades 2? Like, do you think that it's actually going to be a cool sequel?
I had Hades 2 in early access, right? I played the heck out of Hades 1, and I played the heck out of Hades 2. But they're what are known as podcast games. So as I mentioned, I have to read a book a week, right? Once in a while, I'll set my readings to Speechify and listen to it. Hades is a game that is great when I'm listening to my research papers and want to keep my hands and eyes busy. I think I actually am able to follow Chaucer better while playing Hades. So Hades 2 is a sweet game, but like it's deliberately a game I play because it doesn't take my entire attention span. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm excited for Hades 2, and I have it, and I've already started playing it. but I'm not here to like ride or die champion it. It's pretty
Fair
good.
enough.
It is worth $20. If you can get either of them for $20, absolutely worth it. If you're willing to pay $40 for it, still pretty good. Here's where the Nintendo Switch has me in a hard place, though, my friend.
Yeah?
What was my favorite Switch game? Let's see if you remember.
Your favorite Switch game? I do not remember.
It was Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Fire Emblem Three Houses I beat 4 times. I want all 4 endings. I really enjoyed that one. But then Fire Emblem Engage came out, and it was garbage. The worst.
Right.
It was literally, hey, we have cameos from other Fire Emblem characters as our main gameplay mechanic, and half of them are DLC.
Yeah.
Like, it was offensively bad. It angered me. It was like when I started playing Pokemon Black and the map was a straight line. And I'm like, what? The game plays itself.
Right.
So they announced Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. And it looks sick. It's like, yeah, it's a tournament to decide the king, battle arena, brought back all these Fire Emblem Three Houses. And then they end with a cliffhanger that's either a Fire Emblem Three Houses direct prequel or sequel, because it was the same god character at the end. And I'm like, oh no. If this was done... So, my theory is, if it turns out that Fire Emblem Engage was done by their B team, because their A team after Three Houses had been working on this the whole time, I understand Nintendo will have an A team and a B team. Like, the team making Bonanza was the Odyssey team, and then they had their B team making Mario Wonder.
Right.
So, yeah, one of these kids was less loved than the other. That's what happens. So, if the good people were making Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, I'm like, oh, Switch 2 hasn't hit the buy point yet, but that is a strong tick. Because I logged like 200 hours on Three Houses. Because I love me a light novel, academic, simulating, turn-based strategy game. Tell you what, a game where I play as an English professor is what with a sword is what I specifically asked for in life. Yes.
That game is specifically built for you. That's true.
So, that was like their big ones. And then there's a lot of little things. Amiibo this. But Kirby Air Ride. What are thoughts?
Kirby Air Riders?
Kirby Air Riders. Done by the Smash Bros. You know, as much as like I'm flip-floppy on Smash Bros. Because Sakurai's been involved in like all of them. Even a bad Smash Bros. Is a good game. Like, the worst one was the Wii U Smash Bros. Ultimate Story Mode was good enough. I was happy with it. Brawl slapped.
Yeah, Brawl was ballin'. I do think that Brawl was both the best one, and, I mean, again, you should support official content if you like the content creators, but it was pretty cool that Brawl was so patchable. Like, you could just, like, download different, like, skins and stuff and patch them in.
Right?
That was awesome.
Brawl did have some bad design elements. So people like to complain that Brawl was slower, fluffier. There was a mechanic that just made you randomly fall over for no reason. And, of course, Brawl was... I didn't realize it at the time, but of course Brawl's slower. They put in online play for the first time. You don't want your things moving as fast if there's online play with internet.
Right.
It'll explode. But, like, everything other than, like, I want to 1v1 you Final Destination, Fox only go. Like, if you're playing Smash Bros. In any way other than that, Brawl was better.
Right.
Like, it was better than Melee in every way other than raw fighting game combo-y shenanigans. I found Ultimate's graphics to be a little too fluffy.
But, coming back to Air Riders,
they're not trying hard enough yet.
I didn't play Kirby Air Ride enough, but at least at the time, and perhaps even now, it feels more like a mini game than a complete game on its own.
You don't understand. We clearly didn't play this enough together. So here's the thing about Kirby Air Riders. Kirby Air Riders is a Mario Party. But it's the best Mario Party. Because, yes, there's one mode you play, City Escape, where you go through, build your car, kill each other, and do a challenge at the end.
Right.
That is the ultimate party game. Because it's Mario Kart
True.
Battle Mode, that's a roguelike, with stat leveling, equipment, and you can steal from each other. If you get the right amount of hate in that environment, it is perfection. It causes more hatred than Dokapon Kingdom when played correctly. So when I see this trailer, and they're like, oh, we cut the top-down mode because no one cared. We have race mode, but no one cares. Here's all the things we added about character selection and beefing up the city trial mode. I'm like, that's my boy. All right, Sakurai, you seem to understand that this is actually racing Smash Bros. And like, they're like, oh yeah, you get a vote on the final challenge now, but also we'll just lie to you still. And we have new events. Right. But my problem is they're like, we have one city trial map. I'm like, yeah, it's 7 years.
Oh.
There should be more than one map, guy. Why? What are you talking about? What do you mean? And they're like, but we added in new characters. I'm like, your game graphically looks the same, which is fine. It's Kirby. You have all the same cars and a few new ones. You put on characters on top of the cars so they can have special attacks. You gotta do better than this, man.
Yeah.
It cannot be a port that has Deluxe Edition. It needs to have more added to it than Gundam added to Gundam between GameCube and Wii. That is my biggest problem with the Switch to Switch 2 jump, is Gundam's GameCube to Wii jump has been more impressive than anything I've seen on this list. Tears of the Kingdom was less of an improvement than Breath of the Wild than Gundam was to the same Gundam game. You know how insane that is?
Are you talking SD Gundam Gachapon Wars?
Yeah, because GameCube Gachapon Wars is a really good game. And then for the Wii, they're like, all right, for two-player mode, you get custom teams now. We added a dungeon mode. We added versus mode. We level balanced the versus mode. We added 20 maps. We added 100 units. They just added so much for what could have just been a port. Yeah. They upped the player count. Like, they did everything they could to make that game better. And 7 years has passed for these Switch games, and they're just putting on Switch 2 and be like, hey, do you want to download a phone app where we had Zelda's voice actor from the toilet phone in and record a few clips? That'll be cool. Like, what is that? Okay. What is that? They're like, hey, new Switch launches want to play Dynasty Warriors Zelda 3. It has synchronized strikes. I'm like, that was a mechanic in Dynasty Warriors 4 for the PlayStation 2. You gotta try a little harder. Want to play Fatal Frame that has the same game engine as it did on the Wii U? The Wii U had a second screen for your camera. That was better. Oh, want DLC for your DK game that came out last month? Don't pretend Emerald Rush couldn't have been in the base game. Or free. You just had best sales numbers ever for the Switch 2. I don't know. Maybe you can afford to give us more than one free game a month on our virtual console.
And the weirdest thing about the Dynasty Warriors Zelda is they're also releasing Dynasty Warriors?
I'm less bugged by that, weirdly. So, like,
yeah.
I played the first Dynasty Warriors Zelda when it came out on the Wii U, right? It had this sick mode where it was like the Zelda overworld map. You went zone to zone to fight them to find secrets and things to unlock new routes on this map. So it's like this Empires mode, and it was a crossover with as many Zelda characters they put in. And then they made these these new ones are just Breath of the Wild with less characters, no cool. It's like games aren't getting better. Why aren't games getting better?
Well, I mean,
the price went up.
It's because they've been forced to refocus on different things. Greater graphical fidelity and higher processing powers have forced people to focus more on code optimization rather than actual content.
Nintendo doesn't get that, though, because they're direct sequeling their own games with their own game engine on better hardware. Like, let's take Mario Kart let's take Mario Tennis, for example. Could you not just open up the source code for your last Mario Tennis and improve that game? Because the fans can.
Okay. But so one last question, because I really don't care about anything else that is on this list.
Yeah, I think everything I want to talk about is I would have been so excited Kirby Air Ride was we got 10 maps, one from each Kirby game of the last year, but no.
Metroid Prime 4 with a motorcycle.
They turned it into an open world slop grind fest. Like
that what you think it's gonna be like?
No, the entire internet had the same reaction as me. I was in the live chat when this dropped. So the entire internet agrees with me. So Metroid Prime is a horror game, right?
Yeah.
Like Metroid Dread was legitimately spooky.
I did really enjoy Metroid Dread. Probably not worth the full price game, but it was a pretty good one.
No, any other studio would have charged $40 for that. People are like Silksong charged $20 and was a bigger game. Anywho, arguably prettier. Anywho, not the point. So for Metroid Prime, a lot of games after Mass Effect came out do this like open world but nothing's in it, Destiny style, hover bike bullshit, right? Like
right.
The slop collectathon grind open world. You've played hundreds of them without even like you've played them. It's old to you and you don't seek these out. Like every I don't know, Game Panda's asked us to play with them. Usually has you spawn at the tall towers and there's little icons on the map. Every Assassin's Creed does it. Right?
Well, I mean, Borderlands 4 recently came out, and it's like Borderlands isn't necessarily the original loot and shoot, but they're kind of like the biggest turning point where studios started having this empty open world where you just go and grind in the open world that doesn't really have anything.
Yeah, that's so antithetical to Metroid's fundamental design, right? Because Metroid is about going down the same hallway 3 times. The first time running down it because something's going to murder you. The second time carefully exploring it. The first time blowing through the ceiling with your laser grappling hook, right? That is the Metroidvania loop, is finding new things and becoming more powerful. So the tight claustrophobia is a feature. Because every hallway needs, especially if you're having people go through it several times, needs to be deliberately designed. No point have I ever thought in a Metroid, I need a bike. Right? Because why would you ever need a bike in your dungeon exploring game? That just means that there's no empty space. What do you need empty space for?
I saw a brief clip of being on a motorcycle, and I was like, oh man, that's actually kind of cool. But now that you mention it, it doesn't actually seem like it's going to contribute to the overall vibe of the game.
Because it's like, for there to be a bike, that means there has to be space with nothing in it, so a bike is worth driving, right? So let's give, like, Pokemon Gale of Dark Coliseum as an example, weirdly. So the bike in Pokemon Coliseum just quick jumped you through points. And played a little cutscene of you driving the bike. You never actually got to drive the bike. Yeah. That's good design because it shows you're traveling a long distance. We'll go to Breath of the Wild. And at horses and vehicles. How often did you actually use a horse?
Oh, well, so this is actually a personal vendetta against fast travel. I freaking hate fast travel. I know I probably actually spend more time traveling in-game because I hate fast traveling, but I absolutely despise fast traveling somewhere. It takes 30 seconds to fast travel. You do something for a minute, and it takes 30 seconds to fast travel back. And they're like, it's an 80-hour game. It's like, yeah, but 40 hours were spent literally fast traveling.
So here's the thing why I was bringing up the Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild's open world is about as much stuff as I've ever seen someone shove in an open world.
Fair.
So you go through and your radar would ping and you'd find a something. Now, Metroid being a slighter corridor to game, the bike is either a form of fast travel or it's a nothing. Because it's like, it would be the equivalency of flying. Like, if you're playing Breath of the Wild and you just put on a jetpack and flew across the map.
Right.
That's just fast travel with more steps involved. So, I don't know. I saw the bike and I saw the camera angles they gave in the setting and I'm like, crawling up into a wall and going in the vents is more of what the game's going for. But more importantly, having a bike because everyone else has a bike does not bode well for a game you've been developing for 8 years.
Well, I mean, they did. I just checked the Wikipedia page, so take this with a grain of salt. It was announced in 2017 by Bandai Namco Studios with Kensuke Tanabe, the previous producer of Metroid Prime games. However, in 2019, unhappy with progress, Nintendo announced development would be restarted with Tanabe under Retro Studios, the developer for the previous Metroid Prime games. So it sounds like they changed directions 2 years into production.
Yeah, I've never seen a game do that well. Like, I'm still mad at Digimon Survive for being a sick Digimon visual novel stapled on a terrible... You know how much of a slam dunk giving me a Fire Emblem Digimon game with an interactive story should have been? And I'm like, the story is really good, and the gameplay's terrible, so it's just a visual novel. Why'd I spend $90 on a visual novel? I do recommend Digimon Survive, by the way, to listeners, if it's on sale for $20 or under. But never pay full price for it. It simply doesn't deserve it.
Well, and it kind of sounds like you just don't want people to pay full price for any video games anymore.
Firmly
Unless they're
disagree.
cheaper
No.
third party. Oh?
Dude, don't twist my words.
Okay.
So, we used to talk AAA games, and then people are like, this is quadruple A, this is quintuple A. I'm going to list games that are worth $90. Because they exist. Cyberpunk was worth $90. Cyberpunk 2077 was such a large-scale scope game. There is missable concerts where a concert just happens in the background, and you can stop and watch it if you want. It's not a cutscene. They just have concerts going. The radio station has 30 stations. Every villager every random NPC has dialogue. If you don't pick dialogue options fast enough, conversations will happen without you. There's so many events in that game. You could play that game 100 times and not see everything. A random screaming person in a back alleyway about mattresses has a 20-step quest line. You get different items based on what you bring to your best friend's funeral.
Oh.
You have to bring an object for the eulogy, and if you bring the belt that his stepdad used to beat him, you don't get the free bicycle. If you put food in your dish outside your apartment, a cat will come in, and nothing in the game tells you this. The commercials on the billboards in the background, I cycle to the point where you may never see the same commercial on a background prop twice. That's a $90 game, Carl. Every character is voice acted and motion capped. There's 20 endings to it. Your imaginary friend is played by Keanu Reeves. There's full CGI motion captured fight scenes for characters in the background through windows in buildings you can't go in. That's a $90 game. I want you to be putting your best into this thing. When it came out, the day it launched, Breath of the Wild was a $70 game. 9 years ago. 10 years ago. On the Wii U, comparing Breath of the Wild to anything else on the Wii U wasn't fair.
Right.
It was just infinite. The only thing that even came close was Xenoblade Saga.
Right.
So, to wrap up my rant, there are full-price games. I haven't seen Nintendo fucking make one in a long time. I want a game that I haven't, like, Fire Emblem Three Houses, like I said, every aspect of that was by far the best Fire Emblem game. You could explore a castle, every character had relationships, they had supports with each other, full plot arcs. One dude, if his love interest dies between Act 1 and Act 2, retires, dies alone, opens a bakery in her memory.
Wow.
So, like, you get specific things that happen based on who you have and how they interact. You can have two best friends have to kill each other on the battlefield because you took one of them into your class and not the other one. And they had dialogue prepared for that. That's a full-price game. Mario Tennis with new rackets is not a full-price game.
I mean, if they do actually just under the radar add a sick-ass RPG mode, it could be a full $90 game, I think.
For it to be a $90 game, that one-player mode would have to be on the scope of the entirety of Ocarina of Time.
I'm just saying, I think they could do it.
It's possible. I opened with, if this is how I would do it. I believe I could do it if I had their budget.
Right.
But, like, that's what I'm saying about, like, what is a full-price game. If it has day one DLC, it is not a full-price game, because you're telling me there's stuff you can add to it. Right? If you're saying this game isn't finished to the point where you should give us more money so we can add more to it. You know what didn't have any DLC? Baldur's Gate 3. That won every award. You know what didn't have DLC? Expedition 33. That game charged $50. Almost every Game of the Year winner of the last 4 years has been an indie game that charged a reasonable price.
Fair enough.
Like, let's take Donkey Kong Bonanza. How is there DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza?
Yeah.
How is it shorter than Mario Odyssey? It is 7 years newer. Yeah, it has less of a game.
Shorter than...
Yeah, it just has less content. Straight up. About 20 hours less content in it than than Mario Odyssey had. And watching the fights and things...
They released DLC within 3 months.
Also has less production value. I don't recall Donkey Kong Bonanza having anything that was as mind-blowing as the DK Anniversary stage. Or the wedding. Like, the set pieces in Odyssey were just less copy-pasted generic.
Right.
Even though the gameplay of Bonanza is like, destructible environment, yeah. A $90 version of it could have existed, but it would have had to be objectively the best thing Nintendo's put out.
Right.
And
because all these indie studios are putting out much better quality games
for fractions of the price.
Less money.
Well, like I said, Igan's about to give that Pokemon game with bad frame rate, objectively bad graphics, repeated textures on windows, you can't see inside the buildings, there's no secret rock concerts happening in the background of Pokemon ZA. There's no NPCs that have lives and personality in the background of Pokemon ZA. But they expect me to pay $180 for it, and a new piece of hardware. For the privilege of getting the Season Pass locked Mega Pokemon. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think it's going to be worse than it's going to be worse than Arceus, because what made Arceus good was seeing Pokemon in their natural environment and getting awards for seeing them in their natural environment. Like, get an award for catching a Pikachu while napping in a flower bed.
Right.
And they're like, we'll sequel that by having you live in a city and fight in a battle tournament. What I've seen of ZA doesn't even tell me that's a better game than Custom Robo on GameCube.
Custom Robo.
Custom Robo had a DC length story mode, decent writing, occasional voice acting, a sick multiplayer mode, clean graphics.
I agree.
And if
for the time, anyways.
Yeah, and if you didn't play one player, you could unlock everything through verses eventually. It was great. Good times. Anyway, shall we move on to our random question of the day?
I do love random questions.
This one comes from my professor, who brought it up in class earlier today.
Okay.
Would you drink the elixir of life to live forever?
Oof.
Straight clean to the point, right? We had a full class debate about this. I'm like, I would just take that for this week's.
Well, okay. I mean, for me, it kind of depends. Firstly, I would hopefully be able to share it with at least one other person. Because living forever by yourself sounds pretty mediocre.
So, I would absolutely take it for context, and here's why.
Okay.
So, there's so many books, so many movies, and so many video games to play that I simply won't live long enough to enjoy all the media I want to enjoy. And so much writing to be done that, like, provided mankind survives, like, this might result in me carving things into a cave. And part of it's the type of immortality, right? Because it was just like, oh, I stop aging. Yeah, great. If I'm immortal, like Alucard immortal, there's some people I'm gonna go fist fight. Because they can't really stop me. Like, a lot of our prison system is completely based on the fact that you can theoretically kill somebody.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, there's some crazy things I could do if I could just, like, throw a fingernail through a door, burn the rest of myself in fire, and regenerate on the other side of the door from that fingernail, and then leave. Like, there's some, like, I have some theories of how, if I can regenerate from certain core parts of my body, how I can just flush my brain down the toilet and then regenerate on the other side of the toilet. Like, true immortality is ridiculous what you can get away with.
Fair. I just,
So much media. I also want to make an underwater. If I was a vampire, I'd build a city on the bottom of the ocean and make an awesome underwater vampire city where the lights don't shine.
I'm leaning towards no. I probably wouldn't take it.
Coward. Wimp.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm betting that in this infinite, like, if it comes to the point where I have to physically, like, slingshot myself off the Earth and travel through the cosmos to try and find something, I think I could entertain myself enough with internal stories and fan fiction until I encounter an alien race. Or just sleep till I get there and dream. Because, like, that's the thing is, I might hit a point with my mortality that I drug myself to just enter a permanent series of dreams.
Hmm.
But I should have enough stuff logged in my soul at that point that those would even be interesting. Until someone awakens me and I can doom their world. I'm also the exact person the alchemists say does not get the Philosopher's Stone, because I'm not of pure soul and I'm not trying to perfect the art to reach perfection. And you can only be an alchemist if you care about the physical chemical and the spiritual together. If you only have half of it, you're not a real alchemist.
Ah.
If you bake a cake, you're not an alchemist, you're a chemist. If you bake a cake to reach the truth, you're an alchemist.
I see.
So, nah, you're just not taking immortality?
That's like I say, that's really tough because like the psychological effects of living forever. I mean, you literally have to deal with them forever.
Yeah,
and
I'm loving this.
Challenge accepted. Depending on how the human brain actually works, there might be a finite amount of storage that your brain can actually hold. So, like in your ideal scenario here, you're reading all the content that's ever been, and then you don't realize that you're actually rereading content that you've just forgotten because you've read so much content, and you get stuck in a loop reading the same content.
That's why we have the Dewey Decimal System, Carl.
So you're going to have it written down, and then eventually you'll spend more time reading your list of things that you've read than actually reading new content?
Quite possibly. My filing system would be amazing. You underestimate this library I'm building.
Oh, okay. I guess any book that's in your library is content that you've read, so you can just put it in the library, and then that's that.
Right.
Plus, I guess by the time you get far enough into the future, you'd have like a AI sorting system that would actually, hopefully, not turn rogue and start just adjusting content that you have in fact read.
Or I would deliberately turn it rogue so I'd have something to fight. Although, let's be honest, if I have an elixir of immortality, I'm actually just giving it to Miko. That would fuck with people so hard.
Yeah.
Well, like the part where my cat outlived me and Jeremy and the United States of America. And that's like exceptional to hit 20 years old as a cat.
You know, I wonder how smart can a cat get? Like, what are the limitations on a cat's brain?
I just thought I was hoping you'd catch my joke that, yeah, the cat will live many times its natural life of 20 years, outliving America. Oh, they're doomed. But thank you everyone for tuning in to Richard and Karl present Deep Space and Dragons. Send in your random question so I can complain about Nintendo for an hour and a half. The thing is, they could win me back over. They just need to start pushing the envelope again instead of just suing Pal World. Maybe, I don't know, make a better Pokemon game.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no way Pokemon actually peaked on Heart Gold Soul Silver. That can't be where the reality is. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'm serious though. Digimon Cyber Sleuth is better than anything Pokemon's put out in years, and I'm a Pokemon fan. It's rough.
They didn't mention anything about Mario Kart World in the Direct, as far as I know.
Why would they? It's capped. It's done. That's it. That's your entire Mario Kart World. They perfected it. They added an open world that you can push select on the menu to go to that has nothing in it, and is less interesting than Diddy Kong Racing's open world.
Well, so whenever you see a title that says people think that so and so is cooked, it's like, what are your sources? Where is this information coming from? But the announcement for the Sonic Racing game, they apparently did this meme. We're comparing Mario Kart World to an RV, and then like you look on the Twitter feed for the official Mario Kart World, and it's like so many people just reposting this meme of the freaking RV.